Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be back with this new video for the 2025 energy forecast. I'm really happy to start off this new year with you, and I wish you a very, very happy new year. May it be filled with light, abundance, and joy. So in this video, I'm going to talk about all the aspects that I have received intuitively for 2025, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting year. I think it's going to be quite a memorable year, actually. Many aspects are really quite similar to 2020, but at the same time, we're not going to experience at all what happened in 2020. But I feel really this culmination of energy, a sort of tipping point for the planet, for humanity, and also a great awakening in the collective. First of all, a big thank you to all of you following me on my English YouTube channel, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, and activate the notification bell, because this really helps my channel. And as you know, I also have a French YouTube channel which has much more following. I always take time to do these videos in English, so if you help the channel, this really shows that you wish for me to continue doing these videos in English, so it really helps me and it really helps the channel, so thank you very much. 2025 is a year 9 in numerology, so we are in this end of a cycle year, the end of a 9-year cycle. So it might be interesting to see what was started in 2016, for example. What did we start in 2016 and what has been the path since then? So it can be what we had, like the challenges, but also what we healed, the projects we had, the dreams we had, what did we actually create also on this planet during these 9 years. For me, it really marks the start of my French YouTube channel. So I started in end of 2015, I think, but it's really took off in 2016. So next year it's going to be 10 years that I'm on YouTube, so it's quite a mark. So it's really interesting to see where we are now and what we have achieved since the 9 years have passed. Each year I like to pick a tarot card to see the overall energy and vibe of the year. And this time I'm going to start off with the card, because as you are going to see, it is quite exciting, and it's going to be also the guiding thread for all this video and for all the year 2025. So without further ado, what is the card that came up? Well, it's the Sun. The Sun card came up for 2025. And as you may know, the Sun is actually one of the most positive cards in the tarot. So that is great news, that is really positive. And the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this card is it symbolizes for me awakening. It symbolizes the dawn of this awakening humanity. It symbolizes really the new consciousness that is arriving on Earth. And the funny thing also is that I immediately felt it also made a reference to the sun, the real sun, and I was feeling like the sun activity and solar flares. I've been talking about that in the past already. You can check out my video where I talk about it, and I wanted to check also by doing some research if it actually meant something, because as I always do when I receive things intuitively, I like to check. I like to do some research and see also like a more rational aspect to see if it corresponds. And so I did actually do some research, a little quick research just before this video, and I found out that scientists are actually predicting that 2025 is going to be the maximum peak of the solar activity. So wow, that's a huge confirmation. So look out for those solar flares in 2025, definitely. But more than that, it's also about the symbolism of the sun. So the sun really symbolizes light. It symbolizes also, for me, confidence. Like the fact that we are like radiating this confidence. It refers to the solar plexus, of course. So maybe there might be some themes related to the solar plexus for us this year. And for me, it really symbolizes also this kind of as the awakening of the collective, the human collective, but also light workers. As you know, we are the way showers. Light workers are going to be really, really like guiding humanity in 2025, and we are going to be much more confident in our own light, and there is going to be also much more faith in general. So in the past years, we've all been through some challenges, and sometimes it really tested our faith. It tested our faith in God or Source or the universe, whatever we want to call it. And sometimes we actually dimmed our light because of it, and also created a lot of doubts. So that confidence might, not be as great as we would like it to be. Well, in 2025, I feel that this is really going to increase, and we are not becoming fearless, but like really more assured and really assertive, and really like showing our light to others and showing our truth and being really in alignment with our truth. Also, I feel that we are going to have a much deeper and greater connection with our own divinity, and of course with the divine in general. Something that maybe perhaps we never felt before. And this is really going to participate in this awakening of our inner light. And I also heard the return of the Sun King. So what does that mean? For me, it really refers to the Messiah, but not the Messiah that reincarnates or the return of the Messiah on a physical level, but the awakening of our own inner Messiah, our own Christ within. And that is for me the return of the Sun King. It's the inner Sun King. And once we are connected, once we are really, when we feel that Sun King, that solar aspect within us, then we radiate, then we are, we have this self-confidence and we have this faith, and we are closer, much, much closer to our own divinity. So definitely this is a big theme for 2025. And because we had such a positive card for 2025, the Sun is really such a positive card. By the way, on this card, so this is the Marseille Tarot, this is the one of the original tarot. You can see two children here underneath the Sun. So this also represents for me the arrival of the new children, new souls, very high energy souls that are going to start incarnating on Earth starting from 2025 and onward. And I know that many of us actually also lost dear ones the past year or in the past years. And I've been, some people asked me, why is that the case? Why are so many people leaving the planet right now? Well, it's because we are experiencing this transition, this planetary transition, this ascension. So many souls are leaving because they have kind of ended their own cycle of life here, and they are going to different dimensional planes, or they're going to reincarnate on different planes, or they're going to reincarnate also maybe on this new Earth later. But souls are leaving because new souls are coming in, and this is also for me the Sun represents also this renewal and this new birth. So because it is so positive, I decided to pull another card and ask this time, what are the obstacles or challenges that we might have in 2025? And the card that came up is the Hermit. So it's funny because this card actually came up last year. So I did already a kind of a explanation about this card. But this symbolizes for me as an obstacle or challenge this year, it's really introspection. The Hermit is really this introspective aspect. So we might be called to actually close a certain cycle also within us, like within the healing that we've been through, or certain themes that we haven't finished yet, or the unfinished business, like really the unfinished business. So the Hermit really invites us to go within and, observe and transmute and learn from it, because of course the Hermit is also connected to wisdom, sacred wisdom. The Hermit card in the tarot is also connected to the planet Saturn, and Saturn is the great master of time. It's also the master of karma. So again, we have this cyclical aspect. And by the way, And also the karma, I spoke about the karma in my last video, the last video of 2024, where I explained there was this huge karmic purge going on right now, and it's going to continue also during this year. So it really talks about that the karmic aspect. Also, the Hermit card is the number 9. So that's quite, so it's quite good for a year number 9 to have the card number 9. And also the sun is number 19. So we have 19 and we have 9. So a lot of 9s. And if we reduce 19, that's 10. If we reduce it in numerology, it's 1. So it's the start of a new era, the start of a new cycle, which is 2026. So we are in this transition towards the beginning of the new cycle, the new era in 2026. What I'm also feeling for this year is that the collective is going to open up more and more to spirituality, actually. So there will be much more people questioning, I don't know, like existential questions they may have, or where do we come from, or does God exist? Is there something more beyond the seen realm, the material realm and the 5 senses? Is there something more beyond that? So any subjects connected to spirituality, reincarnation, karma, etc., etc., it's going to go actually more and more mainstream. So that's where also, as light workers, we have a role to play, because we are the ones actually with the knowledge and teaching and transmitting or guiding others. So this is really going to be a very strong energy for 2025 and, of course, onward. And another thing that I felt is that we are going to experience a lot of activations, especially through our chakras, so our energy centers, and specifically the upper chakras, so third eye and crown chakra, which will lead to more extrasensory perceptions. So we might have more visions, more intuition, but also a direct connection to the divine self, as I mentioned before, which will also mean that we are channeling more consciously in a way. So more channeled intuition, messages, or also creations, because that's also going to be a theme in 2025. I feel a big flow of creativity, like entering the planet, and we definitely need that, because when we are aligned in our creativity, we are really these divine creators, and whatever we create, it's not only like artistically, it can be really different domains. Specifically concerning creativity and the fact that we need this creativity and to create, what I've been feeling is that we really need to connect back to beauty and honor beauty, whether it's art, whether it's nature, whether it's surrounding ourselves with beauty, because there has been such a kind of attempt these last years really to pull us towards what is ugly. And definitely as a civilization, we need to connect back to what is beautiful in life. And that can be, again, like so many things, different things. But creativity, whether it's artistically or anything else, is really related for me to also beauty and bringing that beauty to the world. And another thing that we are going to experience is possibly in 2025 is our kind of hypersensitivity to things that are no longer in alignment with us, with our energy. So for example, when we are in a certain environment, or when we meet someone, or when we see someone online, a video or on social media, whatever, we might feel some symptoms like discomfort, but sometimes like we can actually feel nauseous, or kind of feel that the solar plexus or the heart center is blocked, or we feel kind of a pain in there, or dizziness in general. So these are signs that we are in contact, in connection with something that is no longer in alignment with our energy, and we need to center ourselves, and we need to ground ourselves back into our own energy. That's going to be also something very present and important in 2025. I'm now going to talk about more like concrete stuff, not that the rest is not concrete, but more like factual stuff. And of course, there is this subject of divine justice coming to Earth. And it's going to start right off in January. So usually, January, February are months where everything is a bit quiet. Not in 2025. It's going to start off in January, where there will be a lot of revelations, a lot of disclosures, a lot of those heavy files, you know, that were hidden to the public and that were going to come out. So it's the famous, you know, from dark to light. And this is going to be concerning, of course, what happened in 2020 during the pandemic and the you-know-what. So a lot of stuff coming out regarding that. And also regarding certain public figures, such as celebrities. We know that Hollywood is actually dying right now, but a lot of, you know, show business figures are going to be arrested or condemned, or, you know, actually there will be huge scandals coming out regarding them. And all of this is going to be shocking for a lot of the public, you know, because they are not aware of it. I know that many of us are. So maybe we are a bit like jaded and like, yeah, we told you so. Yeah, you didn't believe us, but we told you so. Because it's almost like all the conspiracies that were going around these past years are, you know, coming to light, and people are realizing that it was not a conspiracy actually. But we need, as light workers, because this is what I'm feeling regarding all these things that are being disclosed, is that it's going to liberate a lot of energy for us to focus more on our light, to focus more on our divinity, and no longer focus on the shadow aspects of the collective, which will, you know, follow its own path in a way, because divine justice is coming. So definitely it's going to be very interesting regarding what is going to come out. And on a political level, geopolitical level, a lot of things are going to change very fast in the US. As you know, it's related to the last US elections that we had. And because it's going to change very fast in the US, a lot of things are also going to move and shift in the world in general. I actually saw these train tracks, you know, like they're turning. The tables are turning, but also the train tracks, like it was straight, but now it's going to turn. So a lot of countries are going to follow changes that will happen in the US. And we know that, for example, in Europe, things are actually very bad. They're very bad also in the US, I know, but I think they are quite worse in a lot of European countries right now, because I live in France. I see also Germany. There are really countries that are really like in a state of destruction actually, and this destruction is needed, but it's also very hard to witness that, because this is really the paradox of the times that we are living. We are actually experiencing both simultaneously. We are experiencing the birth of the new, and the destruction of the old. And you know, it's not always easy to actually, you know, balance between those two aspects, but it is what it is. And definitely the European Union is not going to survive. 2025 definitely is going to start to crumble. I also wanted to mention the galactic aspect, because this is also something that we have been feeling and maybe seeing for quite some time. And we see that there is actually also a path with that, which will lead to, of course, disclosure of the UFO files and anything that has been hidden also to the public for so many years. Personally, I have actually witnessed a lot of UFO activity this past year, and I think there's going to be an increase also in 2025. So at the end of 2024, there was this kind of drone affair going on, and we didn't know exactly what it was, if it were drones or UFOs. My feeling is that it's more like human, and it's also there to kind of create confusion around this subject, because we can feel in the air that there is these revelations, this disclosure is coming, but there are certain forces also that want to prevent that and to want to create, again, a kind of confusion or fear around that subject. But again, because the collective is opening up to spirituality more and more, and questioning also, you know, where do we come from? Does God exist? Are we one? We are not separated from one another. Well, of course, the UFO question is going to open up all these existential questions as well, to understand what is our relation to the stars or the star beings that maybe came to Earth. And we have been completely unaware of it, or some of us are, but the majority of the humans on this planet are not aware of their origins. So this is also going to bring up certain questions regarding that. Concerning the galactic aspect, as light workers, we may, if that resonates with you, ask ourselves maybe, what constellations am I connected to? What is my star family? And maybe start feeling where we come from, and maybe that we don't only have a soul family incarnated on Earth, but also a soul family, a cosmic, let's say, soul family. Also, I feel that 2027 is going to be a very crucial year regarding anything that is related to galactics. I don't know why. We'll see, but 2027 definitely a year to mark concerning the galactic aspect. On a financial level, I feel that there's also a lot of things that are going to change in 2025, and it's going to start in 2025 and it's going to continue in the coming years, where there's going to be a more equal distribution of wealth on a planetary level. Because as we know, for now it's all, on the top of the pyramid, and it doesn't benefit the rest of humanity. So this is going to change, and we will witness a kind of distribution of wealth. And this is going to open up the gates of abundance for all. And this is also interesting because for millennia, for a long time at least, we've always associated, all the material stuff and money in opposition to spirituality. They were always seen as things that are completely opposites, and they do not mingle together. This is really going to change in 2025, because as spiritual beings, we also need to access abundance. We also need to access money, because we have things to create and to build on the material level. So we need money. So definitely, maybe working on certain beliefs or things that might block this abundance for us is definitely going to be a theme in 2025, because the universe is always infinitely abundant for us. It's only we kind of block everything out because of our beliefs, or the way we were raised, and also the manipulation that has been going on the human consciousness. Saying that to be poor is to be good, to be rich is to be bad. Well, all of that is really changing starting in 2025. And finally, a little note on astrology. And for me, the most important aspect probably that we have is that Pluto entered Aquarius last November and will stay there for 20 years. So this really will mark the year 2025, because Pluto in Aquarius really represents the kind of the era of revolutionary transformation. And Pluto is a planet that has a cycle of approximately 250 years. So if we go back 250 years ago, well, that was the era where there was the first industrial revolution, started in Great Britain. Then we had the American Revolution and the War of Independence. Then we had in 1789, of course, the French Revolution. So it was really an era marked by very strong revolutions. And at the time, it was more a revolution of materialism. So it was the beginning of an era of materialism, obviously with the Industrial Revolution. But now in this new cycle of Pluto in Aquarius, we are entering an era of spirituality again. And this is really opening up the road back to our divine origin. So the important transits that we have also for 2025, when these greater planets also change signs, well, we'll have Jupiter entering Cancer on June 9, Saturn entering Aries on May 25, Uranus entering Gemini on July 7th, Neptune in Aries on March 30th. A lot of air, a lot of fire, a lot of Aries. Jupiter in Cancer is a really good position for Jupiter because it's exalted in Cancer. So what I'm feeling is that because the other aspects are kind of like a bit more fiery, it's gonna create a kind of bubble of softness, of harmony and of beauty, poetry, as I was mentioning before, that will kind of, encompass all the rest. Because definitely Saturn and Neptune in Aries is not the best aspect, because these are two very opposing energies. Saturn, the ruler of Saturn is Capricorn, the ruler of Neptune is Pisces, and both in the sign of Aries, which is a fiery sign, which is really a warrior sign as well. It might create some friction and opposition. We also have Uranus in Gemini, because we can see already that information is going to be key. And, when we talk about revelations, disclosure, etc. And Uranus in Gemini really indicates that there's going to be a lot of information, very sudden and unexpected information coming out that will shock the world. So that's what it means. Uranus in Gemini is really that. Another interesting aspect is that we have the nodes that are changing signs, because we had them in the Aries Libra axis, and now they are shifting on the 11th of January into the Pisces Virgo axis. So the North Node will be in Pisces. Again, this is really opening up the gates towards more spirituality, coming back to unity, to connection, to the cosmic aspect of it all. So definitely a very good sign for 2025. And finally, the months that I felt were important for this year were March, May, September, and October. So maybe months that a lot of things are going to happen, or kind of culmination of energy. And I also checked when the eclipses were happening this year. And actually in March, we have the total lunar eclipse and the partial solar eclipse happening. And we have the other two, total lunar and partial solar eclipse in September. So definitely March and September, very important periods, but as well as May and October, months to watch. I really hope that this video was helpful and useful for you. And as I mentioned, 2025 is going to be a very memorable and positive year. So I wish you again a very, very happy new year. See you soon. Sat Nam.